Well, good morning. I'm Reverend Michelle Scrimgeour-Brown, and it's my honor to welcome you all here today to the Hummingbird Assembly. We are an assembly of people whose mission it is to teach each other to find the miracle of joyful living through life circumstances, to accomplish that which seems impossible. And our intention with these weekly gatherings is to stimulate thought, create connection, and expand consciousness. Our announcements this week are the same as they have been for some time, but I'll reiterate them anyway. In the green box in the center of the table, you will find little pieces of paper where I invite you to make suggestions about the discussions you would like to have. If you're following us on YouTube or on the streaming, please feel free to comment on our page about what you'd like to discuss, and we will include that in these lists of options. The white box is also a place where you can make donations to continue helping to support the financial needs of a burgeoning church, and we thank you very much for that. There are envelopes in there. You can write your names on them, and when we are so blessed to receive our charitable status, our intention is to begin providing receipts, so please feel free to do that. And the other thing is that we are collecting awakening stories. We have received 2 of them. I can confirm that. Thank you for your contributions. The email address to send them to is admin@hummingbirdAssembly.com, and we will eventually fold them into an ebook that people can use on our blog. And before we get to that point, we will ask you if we can use your name or whether you would like it to be anonymous. Either way, the choice is always yours. Okay? So don't feel like we're going to give you away or anything. All right, so let us begin with our opening intention. Feel free to read along with me. It's posted in the notes section on our Facebook page if you're following us now, or to just read along silently. May I come to understand that blessings are everywhere, that my attitude will affect outcomes, that challenges are often gifts in disguise. May I come to trust that most things can get better with time, that my instincts and gut feelings have value, and that a positive attitude makes things go smoother. May I come to see that I have many skills and talents I can use, that I am a positive influence on many people, and that there are those around me who wish me well. May I come to value that today is a blessing to be enjoyed, that each person is unique and important, and that each moment of my life has meaning. Today, I wanted to have a discussion of something that's not in the box, an out-of-the-box discussion, if you will. I feel like I'm running untethered. And I wanted to talk about what it is that we celebrate on Mother's Day. And I have some ideas about that. But before I begin to share what I'm thinking, I wondered if anyone wanted to discuss why we continue to see this as a valuable celebration.
It's a valuable celebration.
What do we celebrate?
To me, it's not just about mothers, it's about women. It's about female energy and bringing that back into balance in this world. There are many definitions of a mother, be it Mother Earth, be it a stepmom, be it an aunt, like it doesn't just have to be someone who's biologically a mother. To me, it's female energy and acknowledging it for all its beauty.
Anybody else want to say anything?
It's interesting because we are all born mothers. We have every egg that we're ever going to have already in our body at birth. So we're born with that capability, with, like you say, that female or feminine energy. It's already there.
Taking that to a different point, it is a biological fact that at the moment of conception, every embryo is also feminine.
Yes. Oh, yes, I knew that. We rock.
We are the rock.
Yes, yeah.
And it is not until week 10 that it decides whether or not it will remain feminine. Mm-hmm. Became a favorite argument with some friends who I was discussing the whole, anyway, I'm not going down this rabbit hole. The whole idea of women springing from man's rib. Because then I said, actually, it's you who sprang from my rib. But that's another rabbit hole, which I committed to not going down. I agree 100%. And what I was thinking when I started contemplating Mother's Day this year was that it's really important as we grow spiritually and not just as individuals, but as the collective that is all awakening right now and coming to a different awareness of themselves, that we acknowledge our oneness. So when we celebrate Mother's Day, I really do not feel it is appropriate that we limit it to mothers. I really feel that Mother's Day is a celebration of the feminine energy. And the aspect of that we choose to focus on, really, if you think about the way, if you are a mother, how you are gifted, if you are a child, how you gift your mother, it's around nurturing. Like the go-to gifts are, pedicures or massage or breakfast in bed or showing that you can take care of people.
Nope. I was going to say,
No.
I haven't even had a
No.
Happy Mother's Day today. What do you mean breakfast in bed?
I would say that's not true. You've got a
Oh, I'm
very
Sabrina. I'm sorry.
delightful.
Yes, I had a delightful Facebook.
Yes. Of course, I felt it was delightful, and not
Yes.
because it wasn't sent to me, but I thought it was beautiful. Anyway, another rabbit hole. So I wanted us to take some time to consider our nurturing capacity. And this is truly important, in my opinion, because if I'm totally honest with you, the best mother I know is my husband. And he is not a mother. But he is deeply nurturing. He is deeply involved in caring for those children that we brought to this world together. And he does not get any recognition for that. And when Father's Day comes, we can discuss too the celebration of the masculine energy. But today, what I really think Mother's Day is about is celebrating our nurturing capacity. Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
I just had a question, like, what's the history of Mother's Day? Like, why did it originally?
It's a great question. Let's see what Google has to say.
Probably
Does anybody know?
Hallmark.
That's kind of what I think,
The Hallmark
right?
capitalized on it, I think.
Yeah. I think that's it. Celebrations of Mother's Day and motherhood can be traced back to ancient Greeks and Romans who held festivals in honor of the mother goddess Rhea in Cybele, Cybele. But the clearest modern precedent for Mother's Day is the early Christian festival known as Mothering Sunday. So there you go.
How early was that? Just by curiosity.
In America, it says 1908. And it was a memorial in a church. There you go. And it is now the International Mother's Day Shrine. Oh, but there's something else here that talks about its surprisingly dark history. Let's check that out, shall we? It's on National Geographic, so it's probably truer than other things. The holiday has somber roots. It was founded for mourning women to remember the fallen soldiers and work for peace. When the holiday went commercial, its greatest champion, Anna Jarvis, gave everything to fight it, dying penniless and broken in a sanitarium. Wow. She was working to improve sanitary conditions to try and lower infant mortality rates by fighting disease and curbing milk contamination. And these groups also tended the wounded soldiers from both sides of the Civil War. Interesting.
Was that an American Civil War?
Yeah, the U.S. Civil War, 1861 and 65. So what I'll do is I'll put this link on our Facebook page, okay? And if you guys want to look at that, you're welcome to.
So that kind of goes into the nurturing aspect, trying to make change, positive change, and heal people that were even their own, and the whole nursing aspect, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. And connecting us to our oneness.
I saw a post this morning, and it was about like homeless families, and most of the families that are homeless are headed by a woman that had left a bad situation, or like a battered husband or something like that. And I thought that was interesting, drawing focus to like the empowerment of those women who had to leave everything behind and then raise a family, somewhere else, and the strength and the power of their love to do that. Like, that's difficult, right? I thought it was nice to see that side of things too. Yeah. And even I'm sure it was the same-sex couples, like these holidays are, I don't know if it's difficult if they have to like assign the mother role to one of the couple, like members of the couple.
I don't
or
think
the
they
father
do.
role.
I think
don't know.
they both celebrate them.
Mhm.
A lot of
Mhm.
That's good.
that I know.
Yeah, my friends that are same-sex couples do.
Yeah,
They celebrate both.
that's good.
Mhm.
I know that would be, I guess, a confusing topic at school for kids and stuff, right, too. Like, I saw some posts.
I don't think
you
it
know-
is. You know what? I really don't think it is, because kids
Kids are
today
so much more
are,
open.
yeah.
Oh,
And the
it's
children
true.
raised
I
in
don't know
those
though,
families,
because
it's
Ellie
all
is very
sometimes.
much entrenched in this whole idea of gender roles, and she's not
But-
for.
When she gets to school, the children raised in those families are so open and natural about it, and the other kids just sort of like, oh, and they accept it and move
Yeah,
on.
that's been my
I-
experience.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's what
I know that
think.
I feel that way.
There was that comedy, Modern Family.
Yes.
I love that
There-
show.
I love it too, but there was the cutest line. They were trying to get Lily to embrace her Vietnamese ancestry, and she didn't want to. And she hit the table and she says, "No, I'm not Vietnamese, I'm gay." Because she's being raised by gay dads, and they're like, no, but it was such a cute line. I thought, wow, like she so identifies with her
Her family.
family, which is gay. And
Yeah.
I just loved it. I'm not Vietnamese,
Yeah.
I'm gay.
So there are a lot of areas in our life where we nurture things as men and as women. And as we move deeper into our oneness, we must move into that too. I found this thing that explains a little bit about the divine energy, the divine feminine energy. Is it okay if I share this? I haven't read it fully, so we may have some jumping off points for discussion. All divine energies and qualities exist in your attached, divine, eternal soul, which is your true, eternal, spiritual identity. Your God-created soul is attached to your human body at the heart space, the heart chakra. It has been through all of your many various incarnations as primitive, evolving human, but the consciousness of humankind has only recently risen and expanded to the point where it can comprehend this and other abstract spiritual concepts. At each reincarnation, your divine eternal soul is attached to the little baby's body at the very moment the baby takes its first breath in. The soul detaches when the mortal body has taken its last breath out. And between these two time frames, the soul does its very best to gain the attention and cooperation of the mind of the human self in order to help the human self to harmonize with the soul, and thus to return to consciousness with one, the soul and the inseparable spark of God within. So your divine energies and qualities, the divine knowledge and feelings of which we are speaking, are stored in your very own eternal soul, which is conveniently attached to your heart space. All of these divine energies lie ready and waiting within your soul, attached, divine, eternal, God-created soul, which is the real and divine you, your true eternal identity in the eyes of God. They're waiting for you to awaken. Your many mortal and physical bodies may come and go through numerous reincarnations, but your true, everlasting spiritual identity remains that of your attached, divine, eternal soul. And then in brackets, they say God's companion. These are the divine feminine and divine masculine energies created within all souls by God prior to our soul's descent into a lower consciousness, this mortal, third-dimensional, physical human life. These divine energies are now available to your human self through your heart consciousness. And then it goes on. There's a lot here. But divine feminine energy is comprised of the following: divine angelic qualities of unconditional love, understanding, compassion, nurturing, helpfulness to others. It includes tenderness, gentleness, kindness, and all of the divine feelings you might relate to unconditional love. The greatest of all of God's divine cosmic powers is unconditional love. The unconditional love within this divine feminine energy has a powerful and magnetic quality. At its highest levels of fifth and sixth dimensional conscious oneness with God, unconditional love has the power to heal, to harmonize, and to create miracles, just as Jesus did so. Feminine energy is passive in nature. It is in this passivity, this peace, which opens the heart's spiritual door and soul to permit the human self to receive intuitively divine guidance and information from the divine mind and the loving heart. I just read a lot of stuff. Does anybody have any comment? Any thoughts?
That was a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. And I skipped over a lot of it too.
So are we supposed to be in balance with both masculine and feminine as a soul?
I think that's the divine ideal.
So our job through,
Sorry, Julie, I'm having a hard time.
our job through this lifetime is to find that balance. It's like, I don't know if we don't necessarily have more of the feminine aspect just because we're female, right?
Oh no, I would say absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I would say in my experience, I intentionally blocked my feminine aspect for a very long time. I wanted nothing to do with what I perceived as being a woman. I was never getting married. I was surely to God never having children. And even if I did get pregnant, I was not going to get married. Like, I was not going to move to the suburbs. I was not. All the things that I associated with women. I wouldn't wear dresses.
Yeah. So I guess even men even fight those things as well. Like when you look at it from a feminist standpoint, like I know it says feminist in the name, but like it's an equal rights thing. So all the things that men fight against, like being emotional, allowing themselves to cry, like taking on more nurturing types of I guess traits and stuff is like their gender or society's version of what their gender should be, like man up or sack up and little boys don't cry. You know?
Right.
Like we both all fight, I guess, the same sort of society's stereotypes. Now. So I think that's interesting. And it's nice of you to like point out your husband's nurturing aspect, because that's something your husband's nurturing aspects on Mother's Day, because I think that's also an interesting thing. Like, it doesn't have to be just the female oriented, but like celebration of like the feminine energy in general. That nurturing aspect as a parent or a nurturing person. I'm not a parent, but like I take care of like a lot of people as well as my my animals and nature and stuff.
Exactly. And I think that's the key, right? Like this nurturing capacity, the compassion that we have is the feminine energy. And it has very little to do with penis or vagina. It has everything to do with being a divine expression. And, we talk all the time, well, not we specifically, I mean, the broader the royal we, if you will, talk often about God being a man, but we also discuss how God is loving and that God wants to be compassionate with us. And I find that very interesting because so many organized religions are very patriarchal, and the men who are part of that are not allowed to be those things.
Well, they're allowed to be compassionate, and they're allowed to be caring.
Are they?
Yes.
As long as they don't cry.
Why is crying a sign of weakness?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's a release. It's a physical, it's a release of chemicals in your body that are built up, but also emotions, right? It's gonna happen. Like
when you were talking about, the way that you're raised and boys don't cry and, whatever, I was thinking of also how religion plays a part in that
Right.
so heavily that, a lot of religions, it's segregated. The women are in the
Mhm.
kitchen, the men are, the men, that makes sense, and it's so bred into them so deeply right from the get-go.
In a Mennonite church, they have separate doors.
And in
Separate rooms. to play
Islamic
in and-
faith as
Yeah.
well, right? They have
Yeah.
walls
Yeah.
between them, right?
Yeah.
Separate sides of the temple.
In the
it's-
Baptist church, women were not allowed to be leaders. They were not allowed to be reverends, pastors,
Yeah.
ministers,
Yeah.
elders.
Yeah.
They must be silent in the church. Like,
It's the same in their history
Fake.
too.
Just
like,
fake.
Mary
Yeah.
Magdalene,
Bring the
how it
cookies.
could be either way. Like they're studying those things.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't a whore. She was like a normal woman who's a follower of Jesus, and like I just how
There's a lot of
suppressed-
discussion about Mary Magdalene actually being Jesus' wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and having a child.
that she
then
was the
No,
leader.
more
Yeah.
than a
More
child.
than he
They had
was.
children.
yeah.
Until that's why you don't hear anything from
Yeah.
You know,
young.
Age
Very strong
3,
female
we don't
voice.
hear about 30 years.
Yeah.
Right?
So, like,
Hear about the last 5. But I want to go back to that. Is that sorry? Did you want to?
I was just gonna say, like, where is it along the line that
That happened.
someone has decided,
Some man has decided.
Some man. Yeah.
yeah, or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know that it was a man.
so that the
Yeah, fair
decision
enough.
I could
was
assume
made
it was a
that,
man, but I don't
that
know
we
that it was a
not-
man.
But also, like, if you think about what I was saying about the religion thing, like, I personally know in the Islam faith, if you have a boy, he's everything. He can do no wrong
Mhm.
in his mother's eye. That's a woman making that decision of,
That's true.
he can. So where is the line of
Mhm.
who made it that way?
Mhm.
If I raise my son to tell him
Right.
he's the be all end all,
Right.
he's the man, he can do no wrong, and if he does the same thing that his sister does, well, his sister's obviously really in trouble, but he's, okay.
He's just a boy. Boys will
Yes,
be boys.
yes.
Yeah, that was.
Don't even get me started
I
on
don't know
that.
if your faith, but in the Baptist, it traces back to God. It is written in the Bible according to Baptists, and they've got their translation of how it's written, that women are to be silent in the church. Women are not to stand up and be, voices. And that's biblical, and that is God's word.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure Islam may be Allah's word. The God that they
Yeah. But then
Worship.
if we go back still again to the spiritual aspect of it, if God is, loving and sees us all as equals, then why would he ever say that or do that?
because it's how they translate it.
Yeah.
It's
man's
all in men's
Yeah.
There's human
translation.
interpretation
Yeah.
put on.
Don't forget, women have the power. We are the creators of life. Even though it takes two. Again, this is from a very long time ago where they didn't know the science and all of that.
Right.
Right? We were the creators of life. So that's power.
Mhm.
So it's, in my opinion, that's a way of taking the power back, is to silence.
I think we need to write on the suggestion box a discussion of the power, because that's a whole other history of power and the male-female aspects of that. Because this is a big rabbit hole that we could
Oh yeah.
devour.
For weeks. For weeks.
Yeah, and
The
it
history
may
of
be
power.
weeks of study, right? However you want to write it out, but whatever we were just discussing. I want to go back to your point, Annie, about in religion, men are allowed to be compassionate. I think perhaps privately, they are allowed to be compassionate. But I think publicly, not the case. They have to be, suck it up, walk it off. Don't do that here. It's not appropriate. Stop. Sit up straight.
In the church's eyes.
In the church's eyes,
In the church,
and the people who
Societal.
participate in the church, and on a larger scale, the church has really informed our societal pressures and our culture.
Mhm.
And when men gather together, they don't gather together. We're talking in extreme stereotypes here, so I hope you will allow this. They don't gather together over quilts and tea.
Mhm.
They gather together over smoke and cigars. like cigars and whiskey, right? And they're not discussing the issues of the family or how they're feeling about the relationship with their partner. They're discussing going back, they're discussing where they were in the brothel last week, or what happened with that person, or did you connect with so-and-so, right? It's less about their own engagement in their life and more about their escapism. They're given sports. And of course, you can't not have cable, because what is your man going to watch? You need sports to escape. And like, this is what a lot of people said when Mitchell and I got rid of cable, right?
Really?
Yes. There's tissue back there, Barb. If you need
I just feel a sneeze coming.
it.
Trying to
Okay.
hold it out.
And blessing her.
She's blessing.
Anyway, I really feel like as a society, men are continually cut down from those emotions and that aspect. Having compassion is not something that men are invited to have. And I don't know that it comes entirely from organized religion, but it came from somewhere. And so much of our society is informed by that. And so much of organized religion is separate, right? Like you were discussing the Baptist aspect, and you were discussing the Islamic aspect, and you were discussing the Mennonite aspect,
It's interesting though, because so many religions are that, like Mormons. A woman can't get into heaven if she's not married to a man. So if she divorces, because my hairdresser is an ex-Mormon, if she divorces that man, she is now excluded from being able to get into heaven because her door or her key into the heaven has left her. I just find it so bizarre, some of the beliefs that really.
and again, where's the compassion?
Yeah.
Where's the nurturing? Where's the love and support?
Makes no sense.
Did you have anything you want to say? You look like you were thinking a lot about what I was saying.
You think I was, or?
You looked like you were thinking a lot about what I was saying, and I felt like you were going to respond.
I was thinking a lot. I guess because I felt that initially when you made the statement that the church doesn't allow compassion in males or in its leaders, that's how I was taking it. And I was thinking back to a lot of people I knew in the church over the years that were very compassionate, caring people that were male. And
And I think they're allowed to, as leaders within the church, because they are to be the voice of God on earth.
right,
And we are told that God is compassionate and loving.
right.
And so they are different. They are allowed to be compassionate because they have to be the voice of the divine. But the rest of us can't be the voice of the divine. We need the priest to be that.
But the priest has to give up all carnal in order to do that.
A Catholic priest.
A
I guess.
Catholic priest,
Yes.
yeah.
It's almost like denying their humanity.
It is.
And it's a
Absolutely.
problem, it really
It
is.
is, yes.
As we've seen.
So, to come back to the topic, I want us all to think about where we nurture. And I want us all to take some time today to approach those who we feel are nurturing, whether they are male or female, whether they have children or they don't, and to thank them for their contribution to the oneness. If our job is to come into alignment with both the masculine and feminine energy, and we know from our previous discussions the best way to do this is to recognize it in someone else, because that becomes a law of reflection. I would invite you to do that. I mean, mothering is an important role, of course, but we mother people, we mother animals, we mother the earth, we mother our friendships, we mother our partners, we mother all the time. Like when someone passes away, I don't know about everybody else, but my first instinct is to bake them a casserole or a pie and take it to them. It has little to do with their pain and so much as, oh, I have to care for this. You know?
True.
I think it's really great to acknowledge that because, like, I don't have kids or anything, and I have other friends who don't have kids but want them. But like acknowledging the fact that they are nurturing people, like that would make me feel like I'm doing times better on a day like today. some of you acknowledge the effort I put into
It
all
matters.
these things, and I'm like, yeah, it does matter.
It
Like, if
matters.
someone say, like my friend, say outside of the circle, it feels good to be acknowledged in the circle, but like even outside of the circle, someone says, you know what, Happy Mother's Day, like I know you do this, this, and this, and you care for people. I'm like, that would just like make me feel so much
Yeah.
like amazing inside.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a good point. Like I'm gonna like make a Facebook post about that, but like
Do
call people
Because it's a hard day for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
It is.
For people
who
who
have wanted to be mothers all their life
and could not.
Yeah.
People who have lost children.
Yeah.
People who are in situations like you who would love to have a child, I imagine, but don't have a partner right now.
Yeah, no,
Right?
Yeah, like,
And it's a
we're just
difficult
acknowledging all
day.
the work that goes into
Life.
relationships and life, and you know, carrying all the time is like it takes a lot of energy to do. All
It
that.
does.
Sometimes, yeah,
It does.
it's like, hey,
And I
see
love
how
that
much care.
you've said all this, because the last point that I wanted to make on this is that, very importantly, it always comes back to our self-love and honoring and recognizing where we are nurturing and contributing and adding value in our lives with the feminine energy that is present in us. It takes some time today to say, hey, good job, Mom.
Yeah, I'm making a list in my head of like all the things I do. I'm like, damn, like
You
there's
must
there's
care
a lot
for
of
you.
stuff out there. And just
You
like,
must
yeah, I
care for
should give
you.
myself a pat.
You should.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Selfish,
feed
but at the
you,
same
you
time.
water you, you house you, you clothe you every day. Somebody's got to do that. Good job, Mom.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Just because you're not mothering a child doesn't mean you're not
I'm
mothering
mothering
yourself.
myself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we
And
can call
it's
it
self-love. I knew you'd
nurturing
love that point.
yourself. You're nurturing. That is an excellent point. Thank you for making that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Happy Nurture Day.
Happy Nurture Day.
Oh,
I like
let's.
that.
Hashtag Nurture Day.
I like that.
Hashtag Nurture Day. Record it.
Seriously, we can make that a thing on Twitter. Hashtag. So I'll take off. Put it in my post.
Well, it's funny. One of my friends it came up on my timeline, said Happy Mother's Day, but it was, and not to me, to everyone. And she actually went on further to say, to mothers of children, to mothers of four-legged children, to mothers who water their plants every day. Like, we're nurturing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really nice post to actually go that extra step and say, just because you don't have a two-legged person to nurture, you're still nurturing.
And again, coming back to Mother's Day is not just a celebration of you as a mother, it's a celebration of you as a child. I really feel like this is an inner child moment as well. And that's where we come back full circle to how you take care of you. Because the inner child is constantly seeking our affection and care. So if we are engaged in how we honor our mother, whether she is with us or has passed over, we honor her most by loving our inner child, by nurturing that.
Good point.
So there you go. That's what I have to say.
That's
Those
a
are my
great
thoughts.
perspective today.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to add as we close this discussion? No. No questions.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Exactly.
Thank you for being with us. We'll be here again next Sunday. And I promise to create a Facebook event in time. Bye.